Good evening, students. So, welcome back to our online session of optical communication class. In today's session, we are going to learn about mode theory, which briefly we discussed in the previous session. So, the basic thing, what is the meaning of mode theory, students? So, mode theory is nothing but it's going to be used along with the ray theory, which is to be find out the propagation of light along the optical fiber. How the light is going to propagate along the optical fiber, we are going to understand by using these particular concepts. So in the previous sessions also we covered the concept related to the mode theory, but the thing is here we are going to understand how it is going to work in TE mode and TM mode. We are going to learn electrical mode and magnetism mode. We are going to use this both the modes to find out the mode theory. The mode theory use electromagnetic wave behavior to describe the propagation of light along a fiber. So along the fiber, how it is going to work, that is also we are going to learn about it. So before going ahead, let's just see. Just it's a blur one. We'll show you the next one how it is going to work. Let's going to see that. So basically, to understand the wave theory, students, so we need to understand the core, collider, and buffer definition. How to get that distance of any particular equation of your wavelength? It's going to be designed by using this formula: 2 pi n1 d sine theta by lambda plus delta is equals to pi m. Basically, what it is, how it is going to work, it depends upon the refractive index, depends upon the angle of propagation and wavelength. So these are the things we need to remember to understand the nature of the optical fiber when it is going to find out the equation to find the propagation. It depends upon the diameter of core. So diameter also we do have for the core. We have core, right, which is in cylindrical form, circular way. So because of that we need to find out that as well. So we need to understand how it is going to work. So in that, so students, so we covered this concept, the sustainable propagation of the diameter of core when we do have a diagram. So it depends upon 2n pi d sine theta by lambda plus delta is equals to pi m. Okay, this is the equation which is our refractive index, and our equation for propagation of our core is going to be depends. Next is how do we get the modes actually. So the modes in planar waveguides, we do have a circular waveguides and we do have a planar waveguides. When we talk about the planar waveguides, the optical waves is effectively confined within the guides. Means whenever we take a direction, that particular direction only it is going to work. Like if you talk about x direction, it should propagate in x direction, should not have change in the z direction. Likewise, the stable field distribution in x direction with only a periodic z direction dependence is called it as mode. Suppose whatever the dependence value we do have in z, so that dependence only is used for the distribution of x values. So for that particular part, what we can say that that depends upon the stable field distribution. So that is called it as mode. So we do have electric mode and we do have magnetic mode. Okay, we are going to learn in further. In the further slides, we are going to see that one. A specific mode is obtained only when the angle between the propagation vector or the rays and the interface has a particular values. So when we want to try to find out the particular value for it, when it is going to check that for that particular value only it is going to work. So meaning is that a specific mode is obtained only when the angle between the propagation vector or ray and the interface has a particular value. So it should not fluctuate, it should have a particular value to find out. Likewise, next part what we are going to say is for that student. So next part we are going to tell that the light propagation within the guide is formed into the discrete mode. So whatever discrete mode is there, that depends upon our distinct angle of propagation. For planar waveguide through light propagation, students, for doing this thing we have took an example, a graph over here. When we try to find out the graph, we just want to see from the graph that this is just a clinical part. In this n2, n1 is greater than n2, we see the ray is passing and it is getting touched to the collider. This is touching the core, right? Core collider, and it is getting back to the outer layer. So when we want to pass this kind of light towards its end, so this is nothing but like we are passing a light making an angle beta 1 is equals to n1k cos theta, because we are considering the adjacent side, this part, for n1k cos theta. this adjacent ray we are talking about. So that's the reason. If it's adjacent side, it's cos theta. If it's opposite side, it's sin theta, right? So by using this a single light, we passed it. Similarly, I want to find a single source of light getting split into multiple parts, like total incident reflection. So what I'm getting, this is my light getting electric field getting generated. So whenever you want to find electric field generation by using this phenomena, I can find in this way. Okay, so this is important to understand and how it is going to work and what are the parts it depends upon. All these parameters we need to consider while we talking about its propagation of light. Okay, so when we talk about the light propagation, we have to see its propagation phenomena and we need to find out the way it is going to get the wave vector and the equiphase. What is this meaning of equiphase? Having the same phase. Whenever we want to find the same phase, it's going to get that form and it's going to find out the field towards that. So it is going to see that field and it's going to find the wave for that and it's going to rotate it and it's going to find the guide for that guide electric field, how we are going to get that and how we are going to find out the electric field for that particular phenomena. We are able to see that. So this is the way this field is going to be generated. So next students, so next is the concept of mode condition. The component of plane wave in this x direction is reflected at the interface between the higher and lower refractive index media. So based upon that higher and lower refractive index media, it is going to work on it. So the component of wave which passing from x direction give a constructive interference to the form standing wave patterns. Means what? So whenever we want to find the wave patterns towards the particular x direction, those are in the form of standing wave patterns across the guide when the following condition is met. Delta phi is equals to m into 2 pi. When this is going to happen, then only the wave can be going to obtain. So the next slide I will show you how it is going to work on that. So basically, as you can see here students, so we have m value, right? Different m values. M is equals to 1, m is equals to 2, m is equals to 3. Based upon different values of m, your wave guide is going to find the electric field, how the electric field is going to work. So on what factor it depends upon? It depends upon this m factor. So based upon m value, the electric field distribution in the x direction can be obtained. So you can see here, this is what we are passing one ray, a light ray. When n is equals to 1, you are going to get this particular touching the cladding surface and coming back to the cladding surface, and the electric field is penetrating on this end, right? Similarly, when n is equals to 2, it's touching the surface but it's going beyond that, it's taking more travel to that, and it is passing how many electric patterns is increasing, right? TE2 mode. This is TE1 mode for electric field, this is TE2 mode, like that. Whenever we take m values differently, we can able to see the difference of all the things whenever you want to find out the rotation of it. So when we want to find the rotation of any particular part, we can able to do in this way. So the next thing what we need to consider while we are talking about this particular phenomena, we are going to see how it is going to work when we take the next. We do have students, so we need to just proceed with the next concept. When we take the m value is equals to 1, m value is equals to 2, m value is equals to 3, so on, we will take the different values and we will try to find out the answer for it. So now let us see the further classification. So now next we are taking the circular cylindrical waveguides optical fiber. How do we going to get the modes? So basically, to get the mode, we had this formula, the ELM. What is LM stands for? The electric field vector lies in transfer plane. As you can see, this is a spherical, right? I'm going to find 3D phenomena for it. When it indicates zeros in phi direction, this is a phi direction, and M indicates zeros in R direction, this is R direction, because we are taking the cylindrical coordinate system, right? So for that, what actually I want to find the total electrical mode and total magnetic mode for the given field. To get that, we are considering L and M. So linearly polarized mode is weakly guided. Whenever we take linearly polarized in the sense, we try to find out by taking separate electric mode and separate magnetic mode, we try to combine both of them and we will get the hybrid electric mode and hybrid magnetic mode. Okay, so this is what there are 4 modes that you are actually the mode designation in circular cylindrical waveguides is going to be get in these 4 modes. One is TE mode, that is electric field vector line in transfer plane. TM mode, magnetic field vector line in transfer plane. Hybrid, that is nothing but when we had that TE electric mode is greater than the magnetic mode, we will go for HE. Which one is greater, that one we will take. Like if you had magnetic mode is greater than electric mode, we will apply hybrid TEM mode. EH, HE. H means E is more. Here H is larger. This is the linearly polarized way. So students, we are continuing our discussion. So in that, what actually we are learning? We are learning about TE mode and TM mode. Basically, what is this mode is all about and how the mode is going to be worked. So basically, so we have seen this one, right? The fundamental mode is given by this formula LP01 HE11. This is called as fundamental modes to operate our optical fiber. Clear? The next we are going to learn about more in details is TE modes and TM modes. So basically, based on the Maxwell's equations. Based on the Maxwell equation, he is only the one who explained about electromagnetic waves or modes as having 2 components. What are the 2 components? One is the electric field component, another is the magnetic field components. Both are mutually perpendicular, make a 90-degree angle with each other. So the mode traveling in an optical fiber are said to be, what is the mode actually? The optical fiber, it's said to be transverse. The transfer mode propagates along the axis of fiber. So whenever we do have an axis, try to propagate on that. In TE mode, the electric field is perpendicular to the direction of propagation in electric mode. What about in TN mode? In TN mode, the magnetic field is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So in mode M means indicates magnetic field, that needs to be perpendicular. In E means electric field needs to be perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Okay, that's the point we are declaring and we are discussing over here, and we try to find out whenever we try to take that particular point into the consideration when we are describing. Okay, so we talk about the TE mode in which the electric components are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. In TM mode, the magnetic field components are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So as you can see here in TE mode, what actually we are using? We are using a core, cladder. We are using different modes of TE, right? So what is the TE actually is all about? This is a TE mode. In that we are completely concerned with our electric field components. So as we are seeing here in electric field components, this is what core is there. First 0th mode, first mode, 2 mode and 3 mode. As the lobes are increasing, first 0 only the major lobe is there. Here 2 lobes form because of first mode, TE2, TE3. Like that, the electric field components are going to propagate in that particular direction. Similarly, for the next point, the next kind of concept is what? Understanding the propagation analysis, how the propagation is going to get that. So just an example, students. Students, next we are proceeding with the high and low order modes. So in this high and low order modes, what actually we are going to learn? We are going to learn about the orders of modes when we are trying to find out the electrical components and magnetical components, how it is going to vary and what phenomena it is actually going to depend. All these parameters we are going to learn in high and low modes. As you can see in the diagram, there are 2 kind of waves. When you see the left hand side, there is incident light is passing, and the right hand side there is a low order modes are going to be passed. So whenever we try to find out this kind of difference between each and every one, we can able to find by considering high and low order. As you can see in the incident wave, when we pass the incident light at one particular order, see from the core, it is passing, it is touching what actually, it is touching from the cladding. So when it is passing from core to the cladding, it is going to find, what it is going to find? It is going to find the different particles, different ways is getting incident, right? So whenever we do have a maximum number of incidents, as you are seeing over here, there is a higher order modes, means there are one light only, it's getting 2 times of refracted rays is getting passed from there. So whenever it is getting in the same direction and it's getting passed, that is called it as high order modes. Whereas the low order modes means what? As you can see, the light is passing here in cladding, it touching the surface of the cladding and is getting back to that particular part when they are not in synchronous form. So this is called it as low order modes. So this is called low and high order modes. When we try to find out the modes of operations, this is the way it is going to be obtained.
Next is fibers, horizontal and vertical modes. In this horizontal and vertical mode, what actually we are seeing, students? We are seeing about the two parts of it. One is the horizontal mode and the vertical mode. That depends upon the modes of particles vibrating. Whenever particles is getting vibrated, if it is in x-axis direction, that particular mode are considered to be the horizontal mode. As you can see in the circular cylindrical part over there, spherical part actually. So here we are passing the n of x. As you can see, the particles are what actually? The particles are rotating on x direction. So this is called it as horizontal mode. Whereas the particles are rotating on vertical means what? It is moving in the y direction. So whenever the particles are moving in this particular direction, this is called it as vertical mode of operation. This is for HE11, hybrid electrical mode of 1-1. So after that mode, what actually we are doing? We are going to understand the nature of that modes, how the modes is going to be get that, and what are the parameters that particular mode is going to depends on. So that is the point we are going to learn it. So as you can see here, students, so we are going to see the what kind of modes it is in. It is in end view of cylindrical modes. So whenever we want to find out that particular mode, end view of cylindrical mode, you can see, right, as we are particles are whenever it's rotating on vertical direction, that is considered to be the vertical mode. Similarly, first set of higher order modes. Whenever we do have a modes of operation for the HE11, in this I have shown you over here, we do have TE01, means you had 0th m is equals to 0 and L is equals to 1. So L, M we are taking. This is the patterns you will get whenever you will get that particular mode. So when in exam they'll ask to draw the patterns, you can draw, they depends upon the type of mode they have mentioned. This is for TM1. This is what omnidirectional. Omnidirectional means what, students? It is rotating in all direction. As you can see, there is a point source. From there it is getting vibrated in all the directions. That such phenomena is considered to be the TM01. Similarly, HE21. HE21 means what? Hybrid electrical mode. In that hybrid electrical mode, what is greater than magnetic field? Electric field is stronger than the magnetic field. For that particular form, we mention in the form of HE21. So 2 indicates M value and N indicates what is the L value actually over here. We do have it as 1. So that's the reason we are writing this pattern. So this pattern when we'll get? When we do have HE21. These are the wave diagrams. You should draw it and you should know the patterns. So this is a cross-sectional view of transverse electric field vectors for 4 lower order mode of index fiber. Clear? Next concepts we are going to learn is practical and view different fringes pattern in different hybrid modes from 830 nanometer. This is that much of laser we are considering. We are taking the laser source and how it is going to work on multi-mode output. So as you can see here, students, so when we do have a laser, when the laser is going to get the operation for it, when laser is trying to find out the movements of the particles, so it can be done by using this multi-mode output. Multi-mode in the sense, it is going to find, see here patterns are just now, you know, vertical modes, vertical patterns will be in this format. Whereas your omni is not there, your hybrid HE11. HE11 pattern is what? It is moving in this direction now. All particles are this particular way. HC pattern showing interface. Whenever we do have any such type of interface, when the particles are moving, light particles are moving from that particular pattern to the another pattern, this can be done in that particular mode only. So next concept we are going to learn is mode propagation constant as a function of frequency. So let us see this one. Before proceeding that, you should note down the notes for it. Maintain the notes. Write down that. Then we will move ahead. So now students, so now we are proceeding with the mode frequency, mode propagation as a constant function of frequency. We are want to find out that one. So basically what actually this one, mode of frequency and how it is going to work, that is our main important concern over here. So as you can see in that, we are using an index value V. What is V actually? That's the propagation value for index fiber. V number of propagation we want to find out. So that is nothing but the normalized frequency we want to find out. That can be done by using this particular relation. What is the relation, students, here? V is equals to 2 pi a lambda by 2 pi a by lambda into n1 square minus n2 square. n1 is nothing but for the core refractive index and n2 is nothing but the Clader refractive index. So what is this? Actually n1 square minus n2 square nothing but numerical aperture. So this I can mention in this way. or I can write in this particular format as well. Okay. So how to get the normalized frequency? It can be obtained by using this relation. In order to find a mode propagation constant and cutoff frequencies of various modes of optical fiber, V number is almost important and it can be given as such. So A is equals to radius. What is small a over here? Radius of the core. Where we in the previous situation I have taken a diameter also, right? D. So in this situation I am taking A as a radius. Whereas lambda is nothing but optical free space wavelength. And N2 are what actually refractive indices of the core and cladder respectively. So we are going to find out that particular phenomena by using this form. So this is the way we need to learn the core and cladder phenomena by using the. So take a quick what we have learned. What in the today's session we started from our first topic of discussion, starting from the mode theory. We started from mode theory, how the mode theory is going to obtain. From there we proceed with the kind of patterns we have seen, TE mode and T11 mode. We have seen the core cladder, how the lights are going to form for higher mode and for the lower mode. We have seen even for the core cladder, the concepts whatever we do have, that is also we obtain, and we try to find out the importance of that in your optical communication. And then we end our session with our TE mode and hybrid mode. There are 4 modes, right? T11 and T01. We are going to learn in details about it, about this session. Thank you very much.